Welcome back to the Woodgrafter. It's October, it's 2020. It's time for the channel update. That sounds good? Stick around. So we are back in the workshop. We've finally escaped the clutches of Fusion 360, that never-ending course that I decided to put on YouTube as well as building up on the website. Not sure that was a good idea. We'll see, we'll discuss. Great to see what you think about that. And we're back to our regular slot on Tuesday at 7 o'clock UK time. Lots and lots to talk about, loads going on. We're going to reflect back on the period of time we'll be doing Fusion. Lots of going on in the business behind the scenes that you're probably not aware of. So we'll talk a little bit about the weeks or the months that you've missed. We then look forward and we'll look at those various things that we're going to be focusing on over the next few months. And then we'll look at the all-important metrics to see how the channel's performing, where we are against our targets, what we're likely to achieve, what we're not likely to achieve. So with that said, let's have a look at the month or the months in review. What have we missed? So while you've been busy looking at Fusion 360, all about computer-aided design, we've been busy in the background as well. We've obviously now completed the Fusion 360 course. Now that course turned out to be a lot bigger and a lot deeper than I anticipated it. When I started, simple idea, I'll take this bookcase here, this cabinet that you see at the back of the workshop, and I'll redesign it in Fusion 360 and I'll take you on that journey. I didn't realise until I broke it down to the key steps inside Fusion 360 what actually goes into a design, and there's an awful lot. But I wanted to complete the course, but I also wanted to take a nice slow pace for those people who were with the course so they could follow it. You know, it'd be easy to rush through, show you all how great I am at Fusion and lose you. So I broke it right down step by step, and we completed it. We did it. We managed to design that entire bookcase in Fusion 360, and that was really exciting. Now for those who were into that, I think it was a really great course and it got fantastic feedback. People really got a lot from that course, and I think we've introduced a whole new generation into computer-aided design using Fusion 360, which is phenomenal. However, for those people who weren't, we alienated. I think as the course went on so long here on the YouTube channel, we alienated some people, and quite a few people got in touch and said, "Hey Andy, love what you're doing, but this is not for me, so I'm dropping the subscription and may come back at a later date." So we did damage the channel a little bit with that Fusion 360. Overall, we continue to gain subscribers, and we'll look at those figures later, continue to grow, but the growth did slow down somewhat on the subscriptions. And that was a combination of new people coming in, but losing some of the existing audience. So message received, I think, lesson learned. Don't change what isn't broken. But anyway, hey ho, we've done it, it's there. It will now create a body of work that anybody who's a woodworker who wants to understand Fusion 360 can dip into that and use it. So I'm glad I did it, I'm glad I completed it, but now it's time to focus back on the core of the channel, inspire, educate and support you. So that's what we're doing. So Fusion 360, done and dusted. The website continues to grow. We're fast approaching the numbers that we were looking for, 1,000 subscribers in this calendar year, and that's getting us to that point. We've got a number of courses live over there now. We've got the Fusion course, obviously. We've got the coffee table course that you can go over there and purchase, and I've got the deep dive course on how to build this workbench. I've got one more course planned before I wrap up the year, which is going to be a floating storage unit that sits on a wall, and that's going to be designed specifically to hold my son's ever-growing collection of pop heads. So that might be interesting to have a look at as well. But there's lots of simple, quick, fast joinery inside there that people can quickly get their eyes into and their hands on. It's a very easy entry beginners level type project, so we're going to put that on the channel to see how that performs, and also on the website as a deep dive. As I say, the workbench course is live. The last time we spoke I was just about to launch it. We're now at about lesson 15, each lesson about 30 to 40 minutes long. True Woodgrafter style, we go into a lot of detail about it, and this is where we're up to. And I've got some junk here that we'll talk about in a second, but you can see the idea. It's a big slab, very thick slab of top that's on a very substantial frame. And inset into the table are these two massive 19mm thick pieces of Velcro mat. This one is going to be an MFT top, and this one is going to be a combination MFT top and router table. So that's going to be really interesting. The next lesson is we're going to be making this MFT top, and I'll be sharing that experience here on the YouTube channel because I want to review this with you, and we'll talk about that in a second. So the workbench course is going live, lots of work gone into that, and it's really exciting. I've also launched something called the YouTube bundle. What tends to happen is somebody will contact me and say, hey Andy, have you got any information about X or Y or Z, or I've seen that in your workshop, have you covered it anywhere? And I've found increasingly I'm beginning to look around for the information I've produced just so I can point them in the right direction. What I've done over on the website, I've taken every single YouTube video I've ever created, excluding these monthly vlogs, and I've put them into a structured course. So if you want to know about the bandsaw, you can go to the website, look at the bandsaw course, and there you will find the introduction, the unboxing, the build, the calibration, the safe use. Everything I've done about a bandsaw is there in a simple bandsaw course. Same for everything I've ever reviewed or any project we've ever made here on the YouTube channel. To cover the admin costs, there's a small fee. I think it was about £14.99 for unlimited access to that. And every time I do anything here on the channel, that's added over there to the YouTube bundle. So one-off payment, lots of access, lots of information that continues to grow. 3D printing has taken over my life a little bit. We had, I think last time we were together on this video, I just bought it and I was talking about the huge learning curve. I'm into it now. I can 3D print pretty much anything. By combining the skills I've got in Fusion 360 and my ability to design things in there, very, very quick now to print those out. You've got to think in different ways for that additive type approaches, but you'll start to see all sorts of things. I've got brackets over here on the wall that's holding all my MFT together. I've got templates up here that allow me to round off corners on things. I've got storage boxes that I'm creating. As we're live here, upstairs on the 3D printer, I'm just printing out some router donuts, as I'm calling them, which is a place to rest my router when I'm using it, so I don't have to readjust the calibration or knock it off the bench. Just a nice little stand and a variety of sizes depending on my router. So lots going on in the 3D world. I call it 3D printing everywhere. I'm at that stage of saying, oh, I could 3D print a solution for that, and I normally do. So that's a great conversation. I've also done a utility room renovation. The utility room I actually built ages ago, and the customer said, listen, you know, that's about 5-6 years old, it's going strong, but can we just give it a bit of a tarting up? So it was a new floor installed inside that, the cupboards were taken away, I repainted all the cupboards, I tidied up some bits and bobs that had got broken, just changed the design a little bit to allow for a new washing machine to be fitted in there, and that was a great project. So that was fantastic. Didn't video that one, it was just one of those, cracked on and got the job done. Now I've also got a new partnership which is super exciting. The partnership is with a company called Souter, a German company, Southershop. Check out the link here and go and have a look at their website. Now we'll talk more about this in future, but just to position it to you, Souter is a well-known German brand, and for many, many years they've been doing online retailing to the woodworking market and industry and consumer from their store on the website. They're a family business. They started off in a garage and they've grown over the years in a very controlled way, bringing up more partnerships with them on the journey. And what's really interesting now is that they're beginning to design and manufacture their own products over there in Germany. And boy, are they high quality. The stuff that they're building themselves, high quality. It's on a par with your Festool gear. It's really, really, really quality products. What they want to do really is to take that German website, and they've already done this and they've translated it into English, so obviously they're pushing now into the international market. And they were talking to me about, can I help them to promote the brand, can we do some partnership with the Woodgrafter, etc. And obviously that sounded good to me. It's a family company, it's woodworkers behind the scenes running the company, they employ people who are passionate about woodworking, they're supplying value to our trade and industry and hobbies. What's not to like? Why would I not get involved with that? So we were kicking around some ideas. I didn't want to do affiliated marketing where they just said, hey Andy, promote our products and we'll pay you. I'm not into that. It's not really what the Woodgrafter is about. I want to bring, you know, reliable, trusted value reviews to your good selves. So that doesn't really cut that market. But we stumbled on this idea of collaboration. I'm going to build something, and the first one we're going to do is this insert here. I'm going to build a router table. So they're going to provide to me on loan the equipment I'm going to put into my router table. And we'll unbox it, we'll look at it, we'll review it, we'll build something with it, we'll put it through its paces, and at the end of it, I'll make a decision. Am I going to invest my money, the Woodgrafter money, in that thing I've just reviewed? Yes or no, buy or return. If I return it, we'll discuss why and you'll get my learnings from it. If I buy it, we'll discuss why and you'll get my learnings from it. So it's a really great way, I think, of bringing new products into the shop that we need as part of our everyday workflow, using them, putting through the paces and making an informed decision. I think that's going to add value to me, it will add value to them, and it will add value to you as well. And obviously, as a thank you for the time and promoting the brand, I do get a small amount of discount if I decide to buy it in the workshop. But above all, the agreement behind that collaborative project is I can be as honest and as brutal as I like about the project, because if it's not working, they want to understand why so they can improve their product. So you're likely to see more of a focus on the Souter brand of stuff that they're building rather than another Festool review or another Triton review or a Bosch review, although we might be able to use that in some ways to get hold of products I wouldn't normally want to look at. But that's it, that's the idea behind it, a collaboration where they sponsor the build of something where we can review and get our hands on equipment we wouldn't normally do. We can make an informed decision, do I buy or return, and then we can crack on. So it's a really exciting project, and the pilot for that is a router table where we're going to look at a router insert, a router lift, a particular router that's very exciting, a router fence, all the bits and bobs you'd want to buy if you're going to make a router table. And we'll have a look at that shortly. Fantastic, exciting stuff. So check them out. Southershop, check them out. And by the way, if you do look at the shop and decide to buy something, in the comments when you're checking out, just put in there the Woodgrafter sent me, and they've committed to send you a small thank you present for your interest. Not sure what that will be. Let me know if you do that, it'd be interesting to find out. And finally, I've got a new commission coming down the line I'm currently working on with a customer. Looks like we're going to close the deal, and it's for an office fit out in a house. Teenager space, they want to put an office in there so the teenager can do study and what have you. Now what's interesting about that one, it's the first one I'm doing as a modular design. So I've designed it with modules I can just bring into place and put the top in place. So it's a very, very repeatable, reusable thing. And if I get the module design right, it opens up another stream of fitting office furniture, bedroom furniture, etc. So it's quite an interesting design. And when I finally get the CNC in the workshop, which is coming soon, then that's the sort of thing I can batch out on the CNC, really get the cost of build right down. Modular allows me to reuse many times. So that'll be an interesting project, and there's all sorts to explore, so we'll have a look at that as the project develops. And even if I don't get that project, that commission, it's worthwhile exploring the thinking behind it, because that modular approach to furniture I think is something that will be interesting to us all. So that's it, that's what you've missed. There's so much going on, you know, it's just mind-blowing. So try and bring all that together. Over the next few months, I've got a lot of things I want to have a look at with you. So I'm going to do some reviews. I want to do the review of the Bosch GKF 600, which is this little palm router here, along with some accessories. I've been after a small palm router for some time, and that one looked pretty good. I looked at the Festool one and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to buy a more entry-level device for a change, and we can review it, we can put it through its paces and start to get into that question, am I missing out on the big expensive Festool one I didn't buy? So we've got that review coming up, and that should be quite interesting. I also invested in a Makita multi-tool, another new brand to the workshop. Makita, another well-respected brand. And as I was doing the utility fit out, I needed to cut out the panel at the back of one of the cabinets to get access to some stuff that was inside there. What better than a multi-tool? Now this is an interesting story. I actually bought the Bosch one initially, and I think the Bosch lasted 10 minutes on the job. It made the first cut, it looked great, and then it broke and wouldn't power up anymore. So I sent that back for a refund, and I bought a different brand. So it's going to be interesting to see how much longevity I get out of this Bosch product, because the Bosch multi-tool was a bit pants, to be honest, but we'll talk about that when we get into the review. We're going to make an MFT top. Although it's part of the workbench course, I want to share the experience with you, because I want to review this, and this is the Trend MFT template designed for making MFT tops. Now, I think the obvious thing to do if you're making an MFT top is to go and get the path guide system, and that's been reviewed to death on YouTube. So I wanted to say there's an alternative. People are now beginning to make this type of template, 30mm hole, put a bush inside it, gives you the fixed position you need for your 20mm holes over that 96mm grid. But does it work? Is it accurate? Will it pass muster? Will it give me the accuracy I want in my work? So we'll have a look at that and see whether that's worth a worthwhile investment or not. Should be quite exciting. We're obviously going to do the collaboration with Souter, and that's going to be turning this black panel here into a router table, complete with fence, adjustability, etc. Table lift, that should be an interesting one. Look out for that. Bench dogs are still in the background, still working well with bench dogs. They've just upgraded their Mark II fence, and they've got this larger etching scale on here. So we'll have a look at that and what that means. They've also brought out, some time ago now, Ralph sent these down, I've not got round to doing it. These are an alternative base for the quad dogs, and it gives you that little chamfer. So if you put the chamfer on your 20mm holes, it holds in place. So we'll have a look at that at some point. Somebody also wrote and said, hey Andy, how do you cost your projects? You talk about projects and you're obviously bringing customers in. How do you cost your projects? So we'll do a bit of a session on that. Obviously the monthly blogs going to continue. If we get the office build, we'll probably do a multi-part series talking about that. I think there's some interesting design principles. Don't worry, I'm not going to go fusion on you, but I think there's some interesting design principles behind modular furniture that we've not explored. So we'll look at that, and then we'll do a quick episode on that. Over on the website, I've got asking from my son for a floating display case, I'm going to call it. You know, you want me to see any fixings on the wall, it'll just float there on the wall, and he can put some of his pop head collection inside that. I'll do that over on the website, but we'll talk about it on YouTube. 3D printing, I'm toying the idea, should I tell you about 3D printing? Should I show you why that's important for woodworkers, why I'm using it, the low cost of entry to get into that? Great resources like Thingiverse that will give you all sorts of stuff, you know, so you don't even need to design. So something around that. CNC machine will be arriving in the workshop. Not sure if it's going to be this side of Christmas or early New Year, but I will be bringing on a CNC machine, and that's a big part of opening the online craft store that I want to get to in the new year as well. So might do a course on CNC for woodworkers. See what we think. Obviously, if you're reading between the lines, my new router table means that my CMT is going. In the same way we looked at the Festoons and said, hey, I'm getting rid of the Festoons, we're also going to look at the CMT and say I'm getting rid of the CMT. So why am I doing that? Once I've finished this, we'll do an overview of the workbench. So I'll give you a very quick how I built this sort of thing, the key features, and walk around it in case you want to do something similar. I also picked up this Incra miter gauge. This is to really use with a bandsaw, but it's also going to form part of my router table. So this is quite an advanced one. So we'll have a look at the Incra gauge, see the features of that, and is it worth an investment in. And I picked these up. These are really quite cool. These are the GESM clear cut stock guides, and they're basically a featherboard, because one of the things I didn't like about the CMT is I could not put featherboards on it, and I found these that attach to my Incra fence, and they've got a wheel here. So the idea is that this wheel's on an angle and it pushes your stock to the table, but also pushes your stock into the fence at the same time. So they're really quite sexy, I think, and I put them through their paces and they're really good. So I'll do a video, talk to you about those and anything else that comes up. You know, there's always new ideas coming into the shop. There's always something I look at and think, oh, let's have a look at that. So there's loads and loads of other things in my head as well that we might be able to get around. Okay, so now let's quickly have a look at those all important metrics. I'll put the picture up here and we'll get into that. So in terms of watch time, we are now at 3,787,488 minutes of Woodgrafter videos watched. 3.7 million. I mean, I was super excited when somebody watched my first video. I was talking to Mrs. Woodgrafter about this the other day. Remember that first subscriber that we got? Remember when my first video had its first view and I was so excited? 3.7 million minutes watched. So I blown my target away. My target started off at 2.5 million. We then hit that mid-year, so we put up to 3.5 million. We've now thrashed that one. So I've now reset my target to 4 million towards the end of the year. And we'll probably achieve that because that's unbelievable. Look at the growth rate that we've got going on there. Subscribers is not going so well. We're now at 12,201 subscribers coming into the end of the second year of the Woodgrafter, and I set my target to 15,000. Now I noticed in the Fusion, as I say, it slowed down a bit. although the trajectory on the graph still looks pretty good, look, that's a leap from March to October. You'd expect that to be much bigger. And I do think that the Fusion 360 has slowed down the growth overall. So now I need to accelerate and get that back. But as you saw, we got some great stuff coming down the line, so I'm sure that will pick up again. Website's doing well. Our target is for 1,000. We're well on target to surpass that. I've already got 978 members going there. So that's looking really, really good. So let's finish off by having a quick look at the ambition that I set out for us. Inspire, educating and supporting you in your journey to become a better woodworker. That resonated. People talk to me in terms of that, say, you know, I'm really following your Inspire side or your education side, or I really want to get the support side. So people are relating to those words and that sort of ambition, which is cool. Tuesday videos, yes, I managed to hit that pretty much bang on throughout the year. So we continue to do that at 7 o'clock. The goals we've spoken about, they're coming on pretty well. Deep dive projects, yes, I've got 3 of those done over on the website. We've got the Fusion 360 course that I ran on parallel with YouTube. We've got the coffee table build and the workbench build will be finished soon. And then the next one will be that wall mounted floating storage or display cabinet that I spoke of. Must have come up with a catchy name for that one. But that's going to be a modular design as well, so you can actually scale that for different things. You can put drawer units inside it or small cupboard doors on it. So it's quite a versatile design that I'm going for. So we'll look at that on the YouTube, but we'll do the deep dive build over on the website. I've not managed to get to my season 1 of Beginner's Guide to Woodwork, but I still want to do that. I've still got ambition to write the definitive collection of works, or video the definitive collection of works that takes you from having zero knowledge all the way up to producing things step by step by step, but in a way that you can navigate your own path through the course. So it's an ambitious piece of work, and I've got it in my head and I've done the research and I know what I'm going to do. I've just not had time to get into it, which is sad, but that's still going on. The wooden gift store is still an ambition. I've got all the back end set up. I was going to cheat and accelerate it, and I found a partner who imports stuff, and I built a website around that, or half built the website around that. And in fact, if you go to thewoodengiftsstore.com, you can see where that was up to. But when I looked at it, I stepped back and looked at the work. There's no uniqueness. There's no me involved in that. So I'm scrapping that entire piece of work and I'll be redesigning it. And I'm only going to sell things on there that I design and I make for myself. So I understand the range pretty much. The CNC machine's a big part of that, so I can sort of put things out in quantity so I can have a good supply network to that. So that will be coming up. It's going to be more of a CNC based approach than I initially anticipated, but I think that's going to work. So I'm still going to do that. So I want the CNC back end of this year. If I can get it before Christmas, that allows me to learn a whole new aspect of woodworking CNC that I don't know much about at this moment. I'm pretty confident I can crack it, and then that will then be launching as a heartland of the woodengiftsstore.com. So that's pretty much it for today. It's great to be back. It's great to be talking to you again with the monthly vlog. As I say, lots has happened and lots is going on. So join me next week and I'll probably be doing the video on the MFT template and turning this black slab here into an MFT insert on my table. So if that sounds good, tune in next week. If you're not a subscriber, you know what to do. See you soon. Take care.